as an athlete, specifically switching from the local club level or school level now to professional athlete, where you got people coming in from all different places. Fear dictates your performance before you ever hit the field. And I know that stepping into that arena is a whole different ball game. And if you are not sure of who you are, where you are, and the image in which you were made and where you came from, then you're probably not going to be who you know you can be in those moments when it's time to shine. Because that fear has already beat you to the field. And it already knows, it dictated the way in which you're going to play, which oftentimes causes injuries and other situations in your life where you then begin to believe the old stories of, well, maybe I'm not, maybe they chose wrong, maybe I shouldn't be here, maybe this, maybe that, blah, 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 blah. And so there's no chance of succeeding from that place. And what one has to do, whether they are stepping onto the field to play soccer, or they are stepping out of their bed onto the field of life, you must know who you are, and you must see the victory before it ever happens, for you to gain the infinite possibilities of what today can be. You must position yourself in that place of unknown, where you are no longer in control. You have released the things in which keep you in control, which oftentimes is analytical thought, knowing, perceiving, beliefs. You have to place yourself in assurance, perfect clarity of the simple facts of who you are, where you are, and where you came from, what got you to that very moment, and then you must dive off this cliff into the abyss of the unknown. And you got to master that, and the more that you master it, the more you get blessed with things that you had no clue you had the power of changing or doing. You couldn't have thought it up on your own. But you can never get there until you release yourself from that past and that knowing. You have to live completely out of control of the future. I don't know what the heck's going to happen, but I'm in it based on this current moment, and I can't wait to see what happens. You know, you're a young dude. You don't have all the problems that we have. You have a few of them that might creep their head up, but, you know, because Uncle Jason knows everything. But who knows, man? Maybe you can be playing the ultimate game, bigger than anything you ever dreamed of. God knows He positioned you there for a particular reason. He's your creator. And you were made in His image. I wonder what God would play soccer like. You think He'd have some cool moves? I bet you'd have all the moves. Well, you were made in His image. And so when you remember that, these things begin to come out of you that you never knew you had the ability to do. Where I came from was, a recovered drug addict, alcoholic, broken relationships, high school dropout, couldn't spell my name, couldn't comprehend a page in a book, to consuming quantum physics and understanding the body and the mind and religion and things in which I never had any clue that I had the ability to do. I didn't go to, I did go to college, but only to drop out. I didn't go somewhere to get these abilities. They were in here. I just had to unlock them, if you will. To accept who I was and forgive who I was. And then just be who I am. And all of you have the same potential. Because you were made in the image of the same God. And it's irrelevant whether it's a Jewish God, a Buddhist God, a Baptist God, a Presbyterian God, an atheist God, whatever God, it's all irrelevant. Because those are just beliefs. Those are just filters. Those are just things that chain you down to not moving forward. When you allow yourself to get into this place and understanding and knowing that universal law works universally for everybody. It's not just the ones that are extra blessed that come from the land of Israel, or the ones that are Baptist, or the ones that are Catholic that did enough Hail Marys and whatever, or just these people over here. The universal law, if it applies to everybody. And that is how science is proving the existence of intelligent design for the first time in history. Scientists that were stark against anything that was intelligent design are now saying it's undeniable. But it's not a Catholic God, it's not a Jewish God, it's not a Baptist God. It's just simply God, the Creator, the intelligent designer of all things. Because God didn't just create some of this stuff over here and then not this stuff over there. Everything is so similar to each other, it's undeniable in the way in which it was created as well as the way in which it lives out from every aspect of life. And so we learn to accept things for what they are, and position ourselves to maximize and experience the blessings of them, or we chain ourselves down with knowledge and belief systems, and we never truly become all of that we could have been. And if I were to be authentic with you, I didn't show up one day and say, I'm loving the unknown. I just simply showed up and did what was in front of me at those days. And at the beginning of this, when Robin and I moved in here and we lived in here, and we knew it was an idea, a thought, I guess. But I did not know how it was going to happen. And I still don't know how it happens. But what I did do was do yard work around the house and yada yada. Oh, sorry, I can't say that word. Dang it, I'm going to remove that from my vocabulary. I had about a 6 to 8 month time where I left the recovery/ministry business and just did stuff around here. But I would mow the lawn and pray in each corner of every section of the house and all the yard for the infinite possibilities. And I would challenge my Maker and say, I know that you're a big God and all, but you created the universe, but I can't for the life of me see how this is ever going to happen. So instead of focusing on that, I'm simply going to focus on the people in which you are going to use to make it happen. And so I spent my time praying in completion to each person that would live here, which is the unknown. I spent my time praying into completion to everybody that would ever give anything of themselves, financially, physically, whatever, to begin this process. And it happened for years. And then, the seas parted, if you will. Things just seemed to get in order. And all I had to do was continue to do the same thing that I had always done, which is become aware of the undeniable and act in obedience to what I know to be true based on where I came from. Never question or ask or have doubt. I mean, like doubt that would cause you to stop. We all have doubt. The doubt is, I have no idea, dude. I don't know. We're going to move out. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Robin got diagnosed with cancer. Well, even before that, I mean, Ron was here. Ron and Jacob were here. We started off with the bang, but then I guess they didn't like my juice or something. I don't know, but it was just Jacob and Ron for the longest time. We'd get a guy here and there, but they'd blow out real quickly. And, Jacob and I would sit at this table by ourselves, and I'd be like, I don't know why I'm doing all that I'm doing to make this. I'm sure Noah probably had these conversations and different people, it's like, why am I wasting all my time and energy on these things that don't seem to be changing the world, I guess. But little did I know what was to come. And the thing that I got really good at, the mastering the fundamentals, the basics, was that part of, it's okay to question, but it's not okay to not follow through. Not to execute in perfection. When you execute based on your feelings and emotions and thoughts, you're going to get Duke pile. And that's it. And it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But when you execute based on the creator of all things and infinite possibilities, you push forward. And if you're lucky, every once in a while, he shows you why. Like he did today for me. So it's not about coming to this place where is it? I know it's right here. It's not about taking action. Oh, let's see. It's about doing it when you know it's right, not when you feel comfortable with it. And so that's what I do, is I don't do things based on how I feel. I do things based on how they line up with what I know to be true in regards to my current position and where I came from. I don't need to spend a lot of time, because I know that feeling. I know the voice. And I know when it comes from here, and I know when it comes from my core. And when it comes from here, it's usually lying. And when it comes from here, it's the truth. When it comes from here, most people say, you're crazy. Are you nuts, moving into the worst part of town? There's a crack house across the street. Are you kidding me? You're buying a church. The investment value on this building, no one will ever buy a church. Plus, in the worst part of town. And it didn't matter to us because we knew at that moment, and we just acted out. Didn't need to know the how. We just knew that the instruction was undeniable. And no matter how it felt, which was not good in many ways and during many seasons, the blessing, the reward is undeniable. And he who is in control of all things and in his time made a way for each individual to come here. There's plenty of places to go. But if you don't understand that he prepared it for you based on your current place in life, that he had gone before you, and you don't see how things line up, then you are simply denying reality. You are denying yourself. And when you deny yourself, you deny God, your Creator. So you have to love yourself to be able to love God, to be able to love others. You cannot love others, and you cannot love God and hate yourself, because it is not in the accurate arrangement of all things. It doesn't work that way. You can test it. See how, let me know how it works out. Or you could just accept it based on who you know I am and my willingness to test things to the extreme so that we could be in this current place at this current time. Funny enough, this kid right here, he ate Thanksgiving meal at this table when we first moved in here. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Who'd have thought you'd be sitting at the table? That's cool. Quinky dink? I don't think so. It's juice. That's the way I look at it. I'm glad to participate in it. Be supported and have other people see that we are doing something. Had a lot of interesting random things happen today, and you coming by was one of them. But it was those, it's every day. It's like it's phone call, weird phone call. Had all sorts of different things. Yesterday or the day before was the 3 for 3 God moments on the day that I didn't expect any of them.
About, not, believe me, relapse doesn't have to be a part of recovery, but I know for me, when I left there and then, I relapsed and all that, I got arrested, all that stuff happened again. When that happens, it's just like, for me, it was like, when we were talking about a couple meetings ago, kind of those aha moments, man. The whole ride over there, and it makes you really realize, for me, it made me realize like how serious this was. Like, look, the game's over, man. Like, either you're gonna step up and you're gonna take responsibility for your actions, and you're gonna be in control of your destiny and of your life, or you're gonna keep playing this game and believing these lies. We all know where they get you, but for me, I get goosebumps just thinking about that feeling that I realized that, this is it, man. Like, either I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do what the people that got before me and these other guys in this house, and we'll figure out, like, this is my family, these are the people that care about me. After that happened, the guys from the house reaching out to me and this and that, man, and when you really see that the important things in life, man. That's what makes me think of what I think about when I think about that moment, you know, and it really, because of my actions, because of my own stupid thinking and thinking that I could do it better. Oh, I'm smarter. I can outsmart this and the knowledge and all that crap, man. None of that stuff matters if you don't do the things that we're required to do every day, and stay right with God, do the basics, and for me it was not living for myself, like Michael was saying, as Joy as you're a chameleon, man. You be with the next person wants you to think just to get what you want or whatever, but don't lead nowhere, man. But ultimately surrendering, I really figured out that I didn't surrender the whole first time. I didn't truly surrender the whole time I was there the first time. My goal was to make everyone think that I was good. My goal wasn't to get good. My goal wasn't to submit to this program. My goal was to make Joe, Jason, and everyone not give them a reason to keep me there anymore. And so because of that, and because I didn't fully surrender, I set myself up for failure. And when I left, I slowly, went doing my own way. And I don't need this, I don't need this. Oh, I can hang out with these people, And what did it get me? I got a good job. I was doing good. It ain't like I used because I wasn't doing good. And I ended up in jail. But anyway, enough of my rant. That's just, to me, I remember that moment, man. I remember that, and it means so much to me because I remember that moment. I remember where I was 3 years ago. Whenever I start getting jacked up, I remember, where was I 3 years ago? Where was I 5 years ago? And I look where I am today and I go, yeah. Because if we don't, like you were saying, Jason, I remember Jason getting frustrated, man, like, damn, like, like all this stuff's going down, like, you're looking at him, he's going, is this worth it, But it ain't about how you feel, He just kept showing up, kept doing what he needed to do. Look at the fruit, look at me, Jay, everyone here, Imagine where you would be today if it wasn't for that. Think about that, and Jason and Robin deserve a ton of credit, man. And he, it's just, we're blessed and we're lucky that God chose this path for us. A lot of people don't get that chance. Make the most of it. We don't know how long it's going to last. Anything could happen.
So when you came here the second round and the first day, we talked about being here before you were selfish, and this go around you were going to be selfless. Okay, and you think about that moment, and you think about everything that happened and extended from that period, and you think about how you began to learn to live, to create life selflessly, because the interesting thing is you cannot create when you're selfish. You can only create when you're selfless, and that is the essence of our Creator in itself, is this selfless thing that created for nothing other than love and peace and joy and in this restoration of life. And then you think about, what you've had to go through in this last year, Eric, and here recently, and you take this person who reacted to a very difficult situation in life, but you reacted in such a way you didn't even know you had the ability to do it, but it was a complete act of selfless creation for life restoration. And if you compare that to the person who was living the selfish way and how you would have reacted to that situation, the two things would have looked completely different.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to that day, and leading up to that, it was like, there's just no training for whatever. All you have when you get into a moment like that is what your habits, what you've been walking out, what you turn to subconsciously, because in that moment there's no thinking. It's no thinking. It's just, and so at the end of the day, we have a decision to make, and that is, life or death. Your decisions you make are blessings or curses. I love when you got at this meeting you were talking about the little decisions. It's all about the little things. And you make these little decisions, these good little decisions that create life, that create restoration, and it turns into this big thing. And without you have no idea. My son dying in the hospital, okay? My son died. I could see my son born. 2 hours later, my son dies. And most people are like, that is horrible. Yeah, it is horrible. But guess what? It's God's plan. And God doesn't say you have to like his plan. God says you have to be obedient. Okay? And so it doesn't matter how I felt. At the end of the day, that was God's plan. And as much as it sucks, that was God's plan. But guess what happened? There was a lot of people in the hospital, the nurses, there was a ton of people that were touched, and they saw the image of my Creator, the image of our Creator through us, through the situation, and those lives are changed. And it goes beyond that. People at work, people just, what's crazy is how God can use these situations that may seem so horrible, or that to you may seem like there's no way God could use that, and uses these situations that change other people's lives. And when you can start to see things like that happen in your own life, and you know that, ain't no way I did that. I didn't even know the stuff I was saying. I didn't know how I was going through this without wanting to drink and use drugs. Look, if I wanted to drink or to use drugs, I had an excuse. My son just died. I held him in my arms for 2 hours and then he died. But I wasn't looking for an excuse. I'm not looking for an excuse. I'm looking to be the person that God created me to be. And the only way to do that is to be consistent and try and walk in these principles to the best of my ability. And the stuff we learn in Torah, the stuff that Jason teaches, it's all the same stuff. With Jason, I feel it's more about the living it out, and it's just changed my life, man. I remember, I'll shut up after this. Robin texted me one day and she goes, I want you to tell me, I need to look up exactly what I said. I want you to tell me what the Adonai house means to you, or I want you to tell me, to write a short, sentence or a paragraph about what the Adonai Foundation is to you, right? If it wasn't for the Adonai Foundation, this is what I wrote to her. If it wasn't for the Adonai Foundation, I would not know I would not know my identity. Prior to coming to the Adonai Foundation, I lived life based on what I believed to be true, which led to chaos, pain, and instability. Through the teaching and guidance of the Adonai Foundation, I'm continually learning who I really am and the image of my Creator based on biblical truth. And I wrote that, and it was a while ago, a few months ago. But anyway, that's really what I believe, man. After going through all this, with my son and all that, and I truly believe that as long as we lean on these principles, lean on one another, allow people to speak into your life and participate, there ain't nothing that we can't overcome. But when we start trying to figure things out, and listen, this is hard for me. I'm analytical, I can do whatever when it comes to math and engineering and things like this, but it doesn't work with life, man. It's just not how God created us to be. Yeah, you use those skills for certain things, but if I'm sitting here trying to analyze what's happened in my life today, and I'm spending time, I'm totally missing the mark, because that's time that I could be spending promoting restoration with my wife or with other relationships, in my life. And that's where the revelation comes, is by being authentic to other people in your life. That's when you get the revelation. For me, not reading books, So, anyway, thanks for letting me share, man. I'm like shaking. This is like, it's just, like you said, Michael, it touches you in your core, man. And that's what just gotta keep going at it. But get what you put in. That's really what it is, man. Richie, man, I love you, bro. I'm glad you're there, man. It sounds like you lost someone close to you, man, and it sucks, but you just gotta keep pushing through, man. And you can have everything you want. The thing is, you don't even know. I have no idea what I wanted. The things you think you want ain't what God has planned. And so, just keep moving, man. Get blown away. And then that faith turns into fact. It's more and more faith. Faith is action, though, man. Anyway. Love you guys, man.
Appreciate the words. All right, let's pray. Father, we thank you for your provision, that it's always enough, and then way more than we've ever expected. And we just present ourselves to know ourselves, to know you, Lord. We pray all these things in Yeshua's name. Amen.